Okay, what's going on, LBHT Crew B? What is going on?
This dreadful season finally coming to an end is what's going on.
It is, man. It is. We have one more game left for both of our teams. One of us still has a slim chance of making the playoffs. We don't want to see what we have to what we need to make it. It's not looking good. Let's just say that. We can end on a happy note by sending Big Ben into retirement, allegedly, with a loss. And I'm gonna tell you why I think we need to go ahead and do it. Why we shouldn't try to get a higher pick. Also, we'll discuss Antonio Brown. Right, that's in our headline. He left the game on Sunday against the Jets. Was he wrong? We discussed it a little bit on Sunday after our game. We discussed a little bit how we felt about it. We want to discuss just Antonio Brown and perceived bad guys in the NFL in general, and why you're going to get a slightly different take here than what you're going to see elsewhere. Also, we got some. I had an interesting exchange on Twitter earlier with some Harbaugh protectors. Okay, y'all didn't like what I was saying about Harbaugh earlier. We'll discuss that a little bit, maybe in the bonus time, or maybe when we get to the Ravens segment. We'll see. But a couple things. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also hit the like button. And if you are a boxing fan, or if you're just a fan of us, you like seeing our faces, make sure you subscribe to our new channel, Ring Kings Podcast. Okay, it's up on YouTube. You search Ring Kings Podcast. It's me, B, and our good friend Mike from OTR. All right, from Off the Record Podcast. So we're trying to get to 100 subscribers real quick. That's our initial goal. So help us reach that goal by going over it. Just take 2 seconds. Take 2 seconds before B hits up that Black History Fact, because you're gonna want to hear that Black History Fact. Let me read a couple comments real quick. Nitro's in the house. What's up, Nitro? Hold on. He says, "We in here at work. We spreading the podcast." That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Danity's here. What's up, Danity? Thanks for coming through. Shaheen is here. Says, "What up, LBHT? It's 3:46 a.m. here." Look, respect to Shaheen. Respect to Shaheen. Appreciate that. Yeah, I saw it. He was the first one in here with a comment. Let me read it. He says, they better lose this game, so at least we would be able to trade up for a top 10 player. Remember, Jose, we have Marlon Humphrey and Ronnie Stanley by losing a bunch of games. Yeah, but losing or winning doesn't really change our draft position that much, right? So I don't think we have to lose this game. If we want to trade up, we can trade up, but we usually don't. So I think we can go ahead and win this game and still get a quality player there. So Matt Williams is here. What's up, Matt? He says, "We in here." Why would you think they would trade up though? Nah. I mean, look, whether they do or they don't, all we can say is what we feel like they should do. Okay, that's the main thing. Andre Mears is here. He says, "What up, LBHT?" Fire emoji. I gotta read it because it gives me the it doesn't show the actual emoji here on this app that we're using. So I gotta read the emojis. D Weezy is here. What's up, Derek? He says, "What up, LBHT crew?" All right, Alfonso is here. Thanks for coming through. All right. Just Allo. What's up, Just Allo? Raven Ron. That's what I'm talking about. He's got 10 picks. Use, trade them, and move up. Look, we're gonna discuss it. Look, we have a lot of time to discuss the offseason leading up to the draft, moves that need to be made, like getting rid of our coach. We are going to get to all of that. Omar B, what's good, man? Thanks for coming through. But first, we are going to get to our Black History Fact, because we like to start every show with a Black History Fact. And B has a Black History Fact for you.
Yeah, so, if you've been following us for a while, you know that we're both big fans of the MCU. Jose used to collect comic books when he was younger. I love the shows and the movies and everything like that. So I thought, why not talk about the first Black superhero, right? And a lot of people would think that was Black Panther. who came about in 1966. He debuted in a Fantastic Four comic. Stan Lee was out there talking about how, one day he kind of woke up and realized he had a lot of black readers, and he wasn't catering to them at all. And so him and his partner decided, we're going to make a black superhero. And so they did, and then obviously Black Panther went on to become one of the biggest grossing movies of all time, many, many, many years later and all that, after Meteor Man and Blade and all that. But he was not actually the first black superhero. A black journalist by the name of Orrin C. Evans in 1947 created all Negro comics. And at the time, black people were portrayed as lazy and violent and, and all uneducated and all those kind of things in pretty much all media. So he wanted to put out some comics that would, paint black people in a better light. And he had a range of superheroes. Just a few names here: Ace Harlem, Sugarfoot, Snake Oil, Do Dillies, Bubba, and a character named Lion Man, who was described as an American-born, college-educated young scientist sent by the United Nations to watch over the fearsome Magic Mountain of the African Gold Coast. And within its crater lies the world's largest deposit of uranium. Sounds pretty similar to another African character who would come out 19 years later in Marvel, but that's fine. That's neither here nor there.
Do Dillies. I need to know. I need to learn more about Do Dillies.
Some of these names are awful. Snake Oil is not a positive name at all. But if you did want to read more about that, Digital Spy has an article kind of chronicling black superheroes in all media, and they also have a link to an original article about the all Negro comics.
That's what's up. All right, that's hey, yes, I love comic books. That was also, I want to point out, I'm gonna give a shout out to Milestone Comics. Right, they're defunct now. They used to be owned by this black man. He passed away. I forget his name, but they were kind of like a sub company to DC, right? And he introduced a lot of black superheroes. That's where Static Shock comes from. If you guys know who Static Shock is, that's where he comes from. He comes from Milestone. And they had heroes like Icon. He was like the black Superman. You had the Blood Syndicate. It was a bunch of different group of superheroes. It was a bunch of characters in that world. They were from I forget the name of the city they're from, like Dakota City or something like that. That was like their metropolis. But I had a lot of those comic books too. So yeah, look into that, man. That's really dope. That's really dope. All right, not so dope. Our boy, Antonio Brown. Okay, listen. AB versus BA. Right, that's what we're talking about. Me and B have been big proponents of Antonio Brown coming to the Ravens. Right, I thought that was a good move. He wasn't going to cost a lot of money. Low risk, high reward. And I say low risk because a lot of those off the field antics, even some of the on the field antics, aren't really that big of a deal. I know people say, hey, he'll be a distraction and this and that. Man, that's just code for you. I just don't like the guy, right? These players are used to dealing with distractions all the time. He'll blow up the locker room and all this other nonsense, right? So, Sunday against the Jets, you had different reports, and we're going to break down each side of the story because there's two conflicting sides to the story. But what we see is AB taking off his shoulder pads. It looks like some of his teammates are trying to stop him from doing it, but he takes it off, and then he trots back to the locker room. He waves to the crowd, makes a spectacle of it. Mm-hmm. And then what we get afterwards is Bruce Arians telling us he's no longer a part of the team. He tried to tell Antonio Brown,
which even today isn't true still.
Right. So, he tried to tell Antonio Brown, hey, get in the game. Antonio Brown says no. He just asks him again. He says no. He says, okay, get out of here. This is what Bruce Arians says, right? What AB is saying is, and other people have reported, was he told the coach at halftime, my ankle is bothering me. I can't go. Mm-hmm. And when he gets out there, he's tried. They try to get him guilty in the game, says he can't go, and he tells him to leave. So,
and keep in mind that Antonio Brown missed practice on Thursday and Friday with that ankle injury.
yeah,
So it's not like he made up some injury and because he didn't want to play. He was hurt. He played, and at some point during the game, he decided, it's hurt too bad. I don't want to keep on playing on this ankle. It's the Jets anyway, so who cares? I mean, I don't know if he really thought that, but I mean, it's the Jets. So I'm gonna sit out the rest of the game. Again, the coaching staff wasn't really having that, and like you said, they told him to get out. And Antonio Brown, being Antonio Brown, made as big a deal about it as he possibly could.
Yeah. So, there's questions about how hurt was he really. And shout out to Couch Rider Raven. And he said something I wanted to address too. He says, but he jogged off the field jumping, right? Did, kind of.
That's fine.
That's fine. But that doesn't mean he's game ready, right? Because he did play in the first half of the game, right? He did give it a go. So it's not a matter of can he run or not. It's about managing pain, right? He can't,
he may be able to jog off the field, and he may not be able to play in an NFL game. Guys walk off the field with torn ACLs.
That's
true.
They
can't play in the game.
That is true. That is true. And shout out to Coach, man, from Sip to Tally Films, man. Make sure y'all give him a follow.
What's up, Coach?
Coach, I don't know if you realize this, but we reference you a lot on this show. Coach said this. Coach said that. Shout out to you, man. Make sure you subscribe to him. Zico Kage, what's up, man? Thanks for coming through. Okay, so what do y'all think about this? What's your take on this? Like, do you think AB's more in the wrong? Do you think the coach is more in the wrong? Obviously, I think more people are going to look at AB and say this is AB's doing, and understandably so, because he has a history of messing things up. So I don't even feel bad for AB whatsoever, right? Like, this is just what he does, right? We know him to do. But these reports of him telling the team that he was hurt and knowing that he came into the game with an injury bothers me, because what we also know, and this is the culture of the NFL, is that coaches want you to play even when you're hurt. Mm-hmm. So if he tells the team I can't go and they're telling them you need to go, that's a problem. That's a major problem.
Yeah. AB is not in the wrong here. I mean, look, he made a spectacle out of it. You can say he was wrong for making the spectacle out of it, and that's fine. I maintain it's not that big of a deal. I mean, he ran off. He was on the other side of the field, drawing attention to himself, whatever. But it didn't affect the game. It didn't affect the team. So I don't think it's that big a deal. But when you tell the team, I can't play, I'm too hurt to play, that should be the end of it. Yeah. The doctors should be there to protect the player, not protect the team. That's the problem with having doctors employed by the teams. They're out there to look after the team first, not the players first. That's why Fred Taylor played so many years with torn labrums in his shoulders, because the team just didn't tell him, because they wanted him out there every week. Yeah. But yeah, when a player says, yeah, I don't feel right, I don't feel like I can play, I'm too hurt to go, whatever it is, that's the end of it. You say, okay, have a seat, and send somebody else out there like they did. The guy who went in to replace Antonio Brown caught the game-winning touchdowns. Not that big a deal.
Yeah, because here's my thing. I get being frustrated with them, right? Mm-hmm. Bruce Arians did not want him on the team to begin with. He's only there because Tom Brady wanted him there, and you wanted Tom Brady there, and Tom Brady gets what he wants at this stage, right? Yeah. And all right, you don't want to deal with his antics, man. Like, he just came off suspension because he fabricated a vaccine card. I'm sure you want to cut him after that, but Tom wants him here, right? And we're trying to win another Super Bowl. And I think, if we're being honest, I think it was one of those things where I think Arians lost his cool a little bit, right? He probably thought AB was just pulling his chain a little bit, saying he can't go out there. He probably figured he's being a diva because, mind you, like this is the other side of the report, was that people were saying he was mad that he wasn't getting his targets because
the team was freezing him out.
Right, but he had already
close to bonuses.
But he had already gotten 5 targets up to that point, right? Mm-hmm. And he had gotten 15 targets the week before. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, AB could have thought I needed more, but it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like that was the case. I think
I'm sure he did think he needed more, but no,
yeah.
I don't believe that that Tampa Bay was freezing him out, or maybe it could be that something he thought previously, right, and then it didn't go down that way because they just lost Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, so they had to go back to leaning on him.
But
no, I don't believe that they were going away from Antonio, but Antonio is an odd dude. He might have believed that.
Yeah, maybe, but I think Arians was just irritated with them when he says, "Hey, my ankle's hurt, I can't go." He probably thought Antonio Brown's just being a diva, right? He can't go, and look, the way you handle that isn't saying get out of here. You don't fire somebody for saying they're hurt, right? What you do, I mean, I know they do that, but what you do is say, "Okay, fine, man, stand on the sideline, get some treatment or whatever." And if you really like, man, we don't want you here, right? But we also don't want you going anywhere else because that's the other part of it too, because you haven't actually released them. Put them on IR. Hey, you said you were hurt, right? I mean, we're going to put you on IR, right? And you can stay home. Do it that way. There are ways you can handle it than saying get out of here, because what did AB really do to really warrant all this attention other than wave to the crowd? He was told to leave and he left. Yeah. He didn't just walk off the field, and just leave the team or just stay on the sideline, get an argument, say I quit. They told him to leave.
Well, yeah, but at the time of the broadcast, they didn't know that. They thought that, oh, well, here goes AB. He's having a meltdown. He's taking off his uniform and walking out. So I mean, I understand, kind of portraying it that way in the moment. But the problem is, it's not going to go back the other way now that you know what happened. You know. It's still just going to be, wow, AB's a head case. He's a diva. He's a problem on the team. In the locker room. That's just what the story's going to be.
So this other thing here too, and shout out to Mikey from Off the Record podcast. He says reports have come out that the training staff have put injured players out there before, including Gronk, and this is no surprise whatsoever. That's the most believable thing in the world. Every team does it. Every single team does that, right? Like we do it here all the time in Baltimore. Right? It doesn't get reported that way, but there's a reason why Ronnie Stanley hasn't played this year or only played that one game, because they put him out there way too early. They knew he wasn't ready to come back. This is the culture of the NFL. That is the most believable thing in the world, right? And AB saying I can't go after playing the first half and they were losing. That's another thing he's probably frustrated about. I think he was just sick of it and he just didn't want to see AB anymore. Yeah. But you still handled it the wrong way. We're talking about being a professional and handling things the right way. Bruce Arians didn't handle this the right way.
No.
Now, the question is he really going to be off the team? At first I thought, okay, they're just holding him because they don't want him to go to another team. But then, the NFLPA is already waiting to see if they actually release him. If they suspend him, that's going to be an issue. If they cut him, that's already going to be an issue depending on how they cut him. But now I'm wondering, are they going to cut him, or are they trying to tell Bruce Arians, look, you got to roll with this?
They might reevaluate that depth chart and say, hey, we going for ring number 2 here. Yes. We need Antonio around. Yeah.
Let me read a couple of comments here because I have some more thoughts here. Let's see. John Hazeb Ali says, I don't trust Bruce. He is a puppet. I'm not going to go that far. I mean, he's a good coach. I think Bruce Arians is an excellent coach, in fact. Derek Weatherly says, I'd be on the show and don't get as many references as Super Tight Films. That is false, sir. That is false. Okay? That is D Weezy. Okay? We lunch money bets. Okay? We look, respect where respect is due. We keep telling you guys, man, hit up that Discord. Like, look, don't be scared of his NFL picks. Sometimes we've been up and down. It's been a crazy season, but he's been on fire on the NBA picks. On fire. You want to make yourself some good money? You follow D Weezy right there. All right, join our Discord. He's got his own channel, Lunch Money Bets. All right, and he'll get you straight. All right, we got Valentine's Day coming up. You want to get your girl some flowers? D Weezy will make sure you can get 2 dozen roses. Okay. Zico Kage says, this is why I love this show. Y'all give me the information that I didn't know. Oh yes. Oh yes, that's because the media is going to spin things one way. Everybody's going to say the same narrative. Some of that is true. Like I said, what they're saying about AB isn't wrong for the most part. A lot of stuff that he does is the attention that he gets, the criticism that he gets is warranted. But there's another side to this, and in this case, I just feel like it's more on Tampa Bay than it is on AB, right? Like when he tells you he's hurt, you can be irritated, but just fine, man. It's the Jets, man. It's the Jets. Whatever. All right. Stay in the locker room. Just get some treatment. Don't worry. We'll figure it out. Now they're talking about he has to go to another specialty doctor because people in his camp are saying he's been complaining about pain this whole time, right? So if it turns out to be something more serious, now what? Yeah. King of Pugo says, season coming down to the Jags. We're done out here. Oh, we're going to get into that in a minute, King. We're going to get into that in a minute.
Yeah. It's this whole, it's not even really just an American thing, but, a media thing where every story has to have a good guy and a bad guy. They can both be bad guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can not like AB. You can hate the way he went off the field. You can hate all the things that he's done in the past. And you can also recognize that Tampa Bay are the villain of this story.
Yeah. Mr. J. Oh, you know what? Before I read this, Mr. J, my bad, Shug. You sent a Streamlabs. You sent a highlighted comment earlier, and I did not read it. Shout out to there you go. Shout out to you, Shug. He says, just want to show love to my homies, Brodny and Jose. So going into the playoffs, who is your favorites to make it to the Super Bowl? Do you think Chargers and Raiders will purposely tie to get both into the playoffs? Will the Jags beat the Colts? Good luck Sunday. No, purposely tied. That's hard to do, right? Like
and they don't like each other like that.
No. They really don't care. I appreciate that. Sure, appreciate that.
Thank you, man.
Let me read. Who do I have up here? Mr. J. Mr. J said, unfortunately for Bruce Arians, Tom Brady gets final say. So, he basically says it is what it is. Yeah, for Bruce Arians, it's unfortunate, but it's not an unfortunate thing.
It's not unfortunate for Bruce Arians either. Bruce Arians is a Super Bowl winning coach now.
Well,
there aren't that many of them.
That's what I'm saying, and he's a Super Bowl winning coach because of Tom Brady. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, Tom Brady pulled a LeBron James. LeBron James for a long time got criticized for this, right? And people still mock him for this. Oh, well, he's the GM. He's the GM. Yeah, but all the moves that he makes gets him at the very least to the finals, right? And he's gotten four finals out of that, four wins. So he's making the right moves, and you need to listen to him. Tom Brady said, if you want me here in Tampa, here are the things that you need to do. You need to bring back Gronk, right? That's my best friend. You need to bring in AB. That's my other best friend, right? You need to bring in Leonard Fournette. You need to make sure the O-line is legit. You do all these things, and then I'll play there. And guess what? It paid off, right? He delivered. You met his demands, and he delivered on what he promised. He got you the Super Bowl, and you're trying to get another one. So I wouldn't be surprised if they say, hey, you know what? 1 game suspension for AB, and then he'll be back for the playoffs, And
to answer Shug's other question, even, with all of that notwithstanding, I'm taking Dallas to come out of the NFC and Kansas City to come out of the AFC.
Ooh. I think it's going to be Green Bay and Kansas City, man. Green Bay, Kansas City. Who wins that? I don't know. That's going to be let's see. E says he a baby, Sat Brown, but nope, he's gonna be there. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think he's gonna be there, man. I like at first I thought he was done, but now I'm thinking they're probably gonna keep him.
Right.
Danny says they haven't even cut him yet. Now Big Bruce needs to tuck his pride to the side and retract his statements. It's because that was an emotional reaction. Yeah. And I totally understand it. Like, look, this is no diss to Bruce Arians, right? I totally get it. I would feel the same way. I might feel the same thing, right? but he's not in control. He's just not. If Tom Brady fights this and says, look, damn it, I want him here. That's that. Then he's going to be there because Tom Brady still plans on playing football. Now, it could be with Tampa Bay or it could be with somebody else, right? So how do you guys want it, you know? So it all depends on how hard Tom Brady wants to fight it. But again, this is where AB needs to be upfront and honest with Tom Brady because Tom Brady is the one that can really pull for him to stay there. If he says, look, man, I was really hurt, you know, or even if it wasn't that, if he just say, hey, look, man, I got issues, because that's the other thing people are saying. Maybe it's maybe he had a mental breakdown or whatever. Then he needs to say, look, man, I might need some help. You know, I had a little episode. I couldn't even control myself there. You know, okay, fine, we'll get you some help. You know, take a week or two off and let's try to get you back for playoffs, or let's try to get you back for next year or whatever. But you know, he needs to be upfront about that. Shaheen says NFL needs more guys like AB. His antics are really entertaining. I got no problem with entertainment, right? Yeah. As long as it's not to the detriment of your team. And we're going to get into the next topic real quick, but I want to say this. I saw a lot of Ravens Twitter saying this is why we shouldn't have gotten AB. And I 100% disagree. Because if we had gotten AB and they would have gotten us to a Super Bowl, all this would have been worth it, right? Like I would have accepted all this. If it would have ended this way, what's the difference between it ending the way it did on Sunday, if that is the end, right? What is the difference between that and a player just falling off, right? Like a player goes to being really good and, you know, we win with them, and then the next year he's just washed. What's the difference? Same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah. Either way, they're no use to us anymore. But when they were, and he worked out for the Bucs. They won a Super Bowl together. You can never take that away from them.
And he's still better than all the wide receivers you have in Baltimore. So I'm not sure you should be pointing the finger and laughing.
Yeah. Eric says Brady's Darth Vader on the low. All right. Okay. So where do we want to go next?
I mean, we can hop in with the Ravens, I guess.
Okay. All right. Ravens playoff chances.
Yes.
It's slim.
Playoff chances.
Okay.
The chances that Baltimore gets in. So just to start off, the Ravens are playing the Steelers. So they have to beat the Steelers, obviously. And they need the Chargers to lose, the Colts to lose, and the Dolphins to lose or tie in their game. So in other words, probably not going to the playoffs.
Yeah, probably not. We said this after the game on Sunday. It is pretty much over, right? That would take a whole lot, and basically, it's not in our hands. So, you know, we're done. Let's go out there and try to win this last game and finish with a winning season. But it's over, man. And honestly, I don't even want to see this team in the playoffs. We've looked terrible all year. All year, right? Like, I think we might have had 2 games where we looked like, okay, we're a serious team. But every game has been close, win or lose. And to finish it out, 5 losses in a row, possibly 6, you know, like, we don't deserve it. We get into the playoffs, what are we going to do? We have to face Tennessee in the first round, and they just got Derrick Henry back. They'll wash us.
They're not going to play Tennessee in the first round because it kind of ties into, you know, your conversation on Twitter there about John Harbaugh and the coaching job he's done. You know, the Ravens
it's right, because they're the 1 seed now.
They've had a lot of injuries.
I forgot. Right? Yes.
You know, somebody sent you a little graph showing you how many injuries they've had compared to their number of wins.
I couldn't even read that.
And there were a couple of other teams who were right on the same level of injury as Baltimore. And it was the New York Giants and the Tennessee Titans, right? And, you know, nobody's saying save Joe Judge's job because of all the injuries that they've had. But that's fine. Joe Judge has done an abominable job, even outside of on the field losing. But the other team who had the same amount of injuries was Tennessee. Now, one of those teams needs a miracle to get into the playoffs, and the other team is going in as quite possibly the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned it on Twitter. I don't like the way the Ravens fans are. And look, this isn't even unique to Ravens fans. This is a big chunk of NFL fans, period, of sports fans, period. Really, you're just happy with mediocrity. And even the Ravens have been better than mediocre, but they're not contending, right? Like since their Super Bowl, they've won 2 playoff games. 2.
Yeah,
that's awful.
Yeah.
And they played really tough against Green Bay, and they played really tough against Pittsburgh, or not Pittsburgh, the Rams, right? They almost won those games, but they didn't. They lost, right? And we've said all the time that John Harbaugh, when his back is against the wall, he does some of his best work, and that's a useful skill to have, right? But you have to do the work the rest of the time too. It's not good enough to just say, hey, people are talking about us, let's really try this week, because I'm not giving you credit for a 2-point win over the Lions. That's not good.
No.
I'm not giving you credit for losing 5 games in a row, no matter what injuries you have. You've lost 5 in a row. It's bad. Now, and we're not even talking about this season, just this season. Because if it was just this season, yeah, everybody would just give them a pass and say, yeah, it's fine. You had a ton of people hurt. It's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come back. We'll be better, stronger, faster, all that. But following the Super Bowl win, they missed the playoffs 3 straight years and 4 out of 5 years. John Harbaugh was on his way to getting fired in 2018. They had a top defense in the NFL, and they were 4-5 midway through the season until Lamar came in and saved his job, right? And it's predictable that Harbaugh would get a lot of the credit, and Greg Roman too, for Lamar Jackson coming in and turning around the team. That's fine, whatever. It comes along with the positions.
Yeah. Now,
but when Lamar came in, they had double-digit wins 3 years in a row, right? And then they got embarrassed in the playoffs 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And what was the Ravens organization's answer to those embarrassing playoff losses? It was absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
It was to come back with the same coaching staff, the same philosophy, and just go get embarrassed again. And yeah, it sucks that they had all these injuries this year, but it's not a 1-year problem. They haven't been contenders since their last Super Bowl. Not realistically.
Right.
And there's only one goal in sports, and it's winning a championship. And if you're not doing it, if you're not progressing towards that goal, you're going the other direction, and it's not okay.
Well said. Raven Ron says Ravens playoff chances equals we done. Let's see. Matt Williams says slim to none. Living Legend says 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Yeah, man. Let's see. Danity says Lamar not coming back unless we make the playoffs. Yeah. Cash Rider is still keeping hope alive. He says go Jags. Okay.
Look, anything is possible. It's just unlikely, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the Colts are some world beaters out here.
Devon Allen says no. Let's not win so we can get a higher pick. But my thing is, I think right now, if we win, we get the 18th pick. If we lose, like depending on how other teams finish, because again, that doesn't determine where we finish either, right? The highest we can go, I think, is 14. So 14 and 18. What are you looking at in the draft that's going to be the difference there, right?
Well, look, if you're looking at one specific player, it obviously can make that difference. But I think this is a special case. Normally, I'm always for, man, just if the season's over, just lose the game, get the higher pick, no matter what.
Yeah.
But, I mean, sending Ben Roethlisberger out with a loss is a special case, right? I think it's worth it. We did get an anonymous Cash App there.
Shout out to you, Anonymous.
So much. He's asking, will Coach Roman be let go Sunday after the loss? I mean, just already counting it as a loss.
Okay.
I don't think so. I would not expect them to make any kind of move until well after the season.
All right. Noah says, preach, brother Brodny, preach. That's what I'm talking about. So, look, here's the thing. So, yeah, I got into it with a couple of people on Twitter, and this is what's so funny, man. You like, not you guys, but man, these Harbaugh protectors and these establishment protectors, man, they crack me up because like you can't accept any criticism whatsoever of the coach. Like all of a sudden now John Harbaugh is a great coach. When the owner Steve Bisciotti said it just 3 years ago, right? A little more than 3 years ago, because he said in the offseason that we drafted Lamar, or 4 years ago now. My bad. He said, yeah, thought about firing him. Decided against it. I remember at the time people were like, oh well, he like you're taking his words out of context, or he didn't. That's not what he really meant. No, that's what he meant. You don't say something like that unless you actually thought about it. Nobody says I thought about firing this guy. He doubled down on that and said, hey, he has more pressure on him. There's more pressure on him than he's ever had before, and I expect him to rise to the challenge. That means your ass is on the hot seat. Like, I mean, if you don't understand that, I don't know what to tell you. Right. Yeah. But he said, yeah, I thought about firing him, and he might want to win this year. Right. He may not want to embarrass me again this year. So definitely on the hot seat. There were rumors that he was going to get fired midway through this season when when he made a switch to Lamar. So Lamar absolutely saved his job. Now all of a sudden he's a great coach again, and somebody had the nerve to say, oh, without Harbaugh, we've only won 4 games this year. No. You got that the other way around. If it weren't for Lamar, we might not even have won 4 games, to be honest. Right? Because we could have easily just lost those games that we won with him. Lamar had to do something spectacular. I mean, that one game against the Colts and the game against Kansas City, for sure, 100%, that's Lamar, right? That had nothing to do with coaching. Somebody tried to say that Kansas City game was good coaching. Bro, we gave up 35 points. That was not good coaching. That was terrible coaching. But the Detroit game, we had the greatest kicker of all time. He had to break the NFL record. He had to do something that no other kicker in the history of this sport had ever done to beat the Lions. Is that good coaching? No. No. So we had to have a MVP in Lamar and the greatest kicker of all time to get us to where we're at now, which is 8 wins. Okay. I don't want to hear,
which is the same place they were 5 weeks ago.
Right. And the Tennessee Titans don't want to hear about your injuries. Okay. They don't want to hear it. There are no excuses, and people kept on trying to make it about this year, right? Because they hated that I said that Harbaugh can't elevate this team, which he can't. And people are confusing elevating with motivating, right? Yes, okay, Harbaugh's a good motivator, but he can't elevate this team. This team has always been a competitive team. That Harbaugh didn't make this team that way. Harbaugh didn't build this culture here. We've always been grinders. That was way before Harbaugh got here. Way before he got here. So Harbaugh had nothing to do with that. So him coming in and saying, oh, well, they're going to fight to the end. That's the standard here. They're supposed to do that. So elevate our team past that. I want to get to the point where we're expected to win. We are the bullies. We're the ones that people look at like we got to go through them to get to the Super Bowl. And he's not doing that. So my man's got to go. And he can't bring coaches in that know how to do that.
And I think we should mention also, we're not saying that Harbaugh's some terrible coach or anything like that. He's been a great coach for Baltimore. They won a Super Bowl. They won a lot of games. Won a lot of games in the playoffs until recently.
Now
that's fine.
Now Cash Ryder says, hold on. He says it takes 2. Lamar crapped the bed against Cleveland. Coaching bailed them out. How? Do you know how bad of a team Cleveland is? Coaching, the bad coaching on Cleveland's side bailed us out. We didn't do anything about that. That wasn't that was not a masterful coaching job by us by any stretch. That was just bad coaching on that side too. So no, and if you want, let's say I gave you the Cleveland game. What else? What other masterful job did we do this season in terms of coaching? I can't name it because I don't give credit, because everybody want to give credit for the Green Bay game, for the Rams game. Oh, we fought hard, but we didn't win. We should have won those games. I'm not going to give you credit for losing games that you
Well,
should have
and
won.
again, if you're going to take moral victories, you also have to look at the other side of it and criticize them when they don't look good in wins,
True.
which was the majority of their wins this year.
True. Yeah. So, look, Harbaugh, let's be clear. Harbaugh's not getting fired. He's not going to get fired. But, again, if you're asking my opinion, I think it's time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying we can't win with them. That's another thing. Not saying we can't win with them. Just because you can win with somebody doesn't mean the situation's ideal, right? I don't think it's an ideal situation to have Harbaugh here. I think at this point, he's just making it harder for us to win. It could still happen, but we need everything to line up. We need all of our players healthy, right? Even though I want to say something about all these 33 players that we keep touting out there as being injured, I would say about 5 of those guys are really key. All these other guys that we keep talking about, they don't even play. So, but okay, we need everybody healthy apparently, and we just need, I guess we need Greg Roman to open up his vault more. I don't know. So like we need everything to line up. We're gonna need other teams to get hurt a little bit, and then possibly we can win with this coaching staff. So
yeah, but look again. He's done great things in Baltimore. He is a good coach, and sometimes it's just time for a relationship to be over, right? The same thing was true of Andy Reid in Philly. He was a great coach. They did a lot of great things, and they parted ways, and they were both better for it. The Eagles won their Super Bowl. He went on to Kansas City. He won a Super Bowl in Kansas City. They both got better from that breakup.
Yes.
And the same thing can be true for Baltimore. John Harbaugh can go somewhere else, build up another team, and continue having success. And Baltimore can take the next step that they haven't been able to take over the last few years.
No, absolutely. Because you know what I think is going on? I'd never said Harbaugh's a bad coach. But what's going on is this man, Lamar Jackson, came in and saved this job. And he just been putting the team on his back. And he made Harbaugh's job a lot easier. He made everybody's job a lot easier. And I think they got a little lazy. If we're being real about it, he didn't have to be as creative, right? Because at the end of the day, Lamar's going to do something special and just win these games for him. And he got lazy with just play calling and just overall. This isn't something that's exclusive to Lamar Jackson. This is, again, the curse of the black quarterback. When you have somebody that's that dynamic, that can do all these special things, coaches get lazy. They say, well, I mean, he can just make something happen with his feet. We don't have to do this. We don't have to do any advanced play calling in the pass game, right? I mean, we just run the ball. They won't be able to stop us running. The O-line's fine. I mean, they'll block well enough, right? He'll make a play with his feet. Like it happens all the time, and I think he fell victim to that. And by letting him go, it'll make him realize, all right, I need to improve off of that. And the coach that we bring in to replace him will understand there needs to be a higher standard than what we just saw.
Yeah.
So, all right, are we ready for?
We are ready.
We are ready. All right, it's that time, guys and gals. You gambling degenerates, right? Get your notepad ready. It is time for lunch money bets. We got our man D Weezy here. D Weezy, what is going on?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, Derek?
Not much, coming off a losing week with the NFL. But like y'all said, so far it's seemed my strong suit so far has been the NBA. And if you've been in the Discord, you've seen some of it. I was on a winning night the past couple of nights, coming out 3-2 on the plays I dropped. I was, breaking down a recent live play I did last night on the Lakers. Brodny, I think, enjoyed that one a little bit. So, yeah, sometimes it's just about, being able to find a smart play and a strong play, and it might not always work out in your favor, but they typically tend to add up, go in the right direction for you if you keep at it. So, this week I'm coming in I'm on the Dallas Philly game. Now, if you're in the Discord, you saw that I was a little upset. I had this number
angry.
early on. Yeah. I had this number originally at -2.5 for Dallas. Unfortunately, when all the news came out behind the COVID stuff and all that, they decided to void any action already laid and repost the line. And I'm happy to get back on it at the -7, but I would really like to have that -2.5 that they originally put up. So moving on to the next one, y'all talking about Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I think that has a chance to be an ugly game. I do think Baltimore might come out ahead. I'm not sure if we'll see Lamar Jackson, but I do think the way Huntley's been playing, I like what I've seen. I hadn't seen much bad out of him. He's played better than your typical backup quarterback. So I'm going to be on Baltimore minus the 5 points there. It's been back and forth with Baltimore. I don't want to say that I'm too confident, but I'm more confident in Baltimore than I am in Pittsburgh. Moving on
Pittsburgh
to the
looks
Carolina
awful,
game.
by the way. They look awful.
Yes, they really do. I mean,
let me just throw one question at you before you move on. Do you think T.J. Watt's getting that record?
Oh,
how many does he need?
He needs 1 to tie, 1.5 to break it.
Oh, that's
against Villanueva.
Low. That's low.
He might set an unreachable new record against Villanueva.
That's what I'm thinking. Because I promise you, if you can find a sack prop somewhere, it's not going to be 1.5. I think
he's getting at least 2. I mean, against good tackles, he's going to get 1. Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's getting at least 2.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd like to say that wasn't going to occur, but against that offensive line, that would not be the smart bet.
Okay.
And, and kind of like how y'all were talking earlier about, Lamar, it would take Lamar having an MVP season. Those that remember, I was on here in the beginning, that was one of the things that I said, that if you thought Baltimore would have a chance at going deep into the playoffs or something to that effect, it may take something like Lamar having an MVP like season.
Yeah.
Maybe not winning it, but being in that discussion. Unfortunately, that's not how the way things have gone this season. And you see sort of the turnout. All right. So moving on to my next game. One Ravens fans might actually be a little bit interested in, because I'm on the Patriots minus the 5.5, meaning the Dolphins would lose. So there is that to, potentially look forward to, because the way I've looked at it when it comes to playoff chances, if you got a chance, it's kind of like poker, a chip in a chair. You ain't gone until you're gone. Yeah. So, I'll be on New England. They've been playing strong. I think everybody was enamored with the streak that the Dolphins went on, but there were a few bad teams mixed in there, the Panthers being one of them.
The Ravens being one of them, whatever. All right.
Mr. J6 says, here comes Derek telling me he has the Bucs beating the Panthers 30-10 in the first half.
Hold up. I was on them last matchup with the big spread, and I was going to be there in person, and I knew what was going to go down. What you talking about? I had to watch that in person.
Yeah.
But and then going on to the last game, what will be the regular season? We got the Chargers and the Raiders playing. I hadn't heard much news out of the Chargers that they might potentially sit people, rest people. I think with that coaching staff and the players they got, they want to go into that last week fighting like it's any other week. You hear people talk about playoff mentality, and in my opinion, that starts before the playoffs starts. That starts 4 or 5 weeks left on the season, because that's when you start gearing up and ramping up, and that's when things matter the most as far as winning certain matchups, or where you stand. So I think this team is going to come in and play strong. I'm going to be on the Chargers -3. the dysfunction that we've seen out of the Raiders, I don't see them putting up many points. And even an off day with the Chargers, I think they could come in and put up 24, 27 points. I don't think the Raiders can score more than 20 points against that team. And so I think they cover that -3 spread.
All right. Raven Ron says Degenerate Ron is in the house. That's currently losing on Mavs game 2, game parlay 49ers +4 and Chargers -3. Derek, your thoughts?
Well, like I said, I do like that -3. And then you said the 49ers +4.
Yes.
Who are they playing?
They got the Rams. They're at the Rams.
Now, that'll be interesting, depending on who the Rams sit and don't play in that game, because I don't see them putting – I don't think that's the same scenario how I was talking with the Chargers. I think they may actually rest some people and sit some players, and you don't have a full first-string lineup coming through. So, yeah, that is a potential angle there with the 49ers. If you think the Rams are going to sit some key pieces, you think the 49ers are going to come in fighting hard. Motivation is a big thing. Here recently, you probably hear a lot of people reference it in the bowl games and, some of these opt-out stuffs and players and teams' motivations. Well, that's the same type of stuff that implies, this time of year with the NFL. And so I think, the 49ers got more motivation going into that game. You might see the Rams sitting some key pieces, maybe not play them the full game. So that +4 on the 49ers could work out well, even if they don't win outright.
All right. There you go. All
I
right.
would say that I would think that the Rams would be interested in having Matt Stafford out there and making that Baltimore memory go away, because he was awful against Baltimore, right? You got that. You got them going up against a division rival. And you got Cooper Kupp, potentially getting or breaking the record for most receiving yards in a season. I think they got a little bit of motivation there.
What does he need? 100? It's 130 something yards.
136, I believe it is, to break it.
I don't think he gets it against.
So it's gonna be tough.
But see, that's the question now. What if they come out and Kupp's only got 3 receptions in the first half? Stafford's got 100 yards throwing the ball, not many completions. Do you see him that second half?
Probably not. But if I'm their coach, if I'm McVay, I do want to see some good play out of Matt Stafford before we tie up this season.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm not going to be too confident going into the next week.
That's a good point. All right, D Weezy, appreciate you coming on. If you want to see more of his work, you can check him out on our website, LBHTshow.com. He writes articles every week on the Panthers. Also in our Discord, which you can be a part of by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/LBHT Show for as little as $3 a month. All right. He has his own channel on the Discord, Lunch Money Bets. You can get more picks like this. And he's on fire on the NBA. And if you have any questions in general, you can hit him up and he will answer them. All right. And he also hangs out with us on the Overtime Show. So, Derek, man, we're going to see you in a little bit on the Overtime Show. Appreciate you coming on.
All right, everybody, take care out there, y'all.
All right, now. All right. So, yes. All right. You see that ticker right below B. Okay. That's we can get our merch. LBHTshow.com/shop. All right. If you like what B's wearing, you got to set up a little bit so you can see. Derek was wearing his, right? He's wearing his a little bit. There you go. Yes. RIP to the South for the Panthers fans. We got one for the Ravens on there too. I just didn't order mine. But
defense is trash.
Well, look, there's a specific reason. Right? You guys don't usually see me wear purple on here. There's a reason for it. It's because of my blue screen. The blue screen makes my purple stuff look brownish, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I haven't really worn too much purple.
Why.
Yeah, that's why.
I bet that's why. Not that you've lost 5 games in a row, about to make it 6, gonna miss the playoffs and all that.
When's the last time y'all won? Whatever.
Doesn't matter. We suck. Yeah. We don't have a generational quarterback. Okay?
Anyways, you want to get some dope merch like what we're wearing right here.
You can't hurt me more than the Panthers have.
Get yourself a nice mug, okay? You can go to the store right there. Other ways to support, as I mentioned earlier, we have a Patreon, Facebook.com/LBHT Show. We currently have one tier. We're going to get this other tier up pretty soon. We have a $3 tier. B, tell them about that tier real quick and tell them what they can have in store for the $10 tier.
Yeah, so in the $3 tier, you're going to get entrance into the Overtime Show, which is the stream that we do after the live show every Wednesday. All the patrons are in there. We talk anything and everything, sports, entertainment, life in general. It's a lot of fun every week. It also gets you entrance into our yearly Pick'em League. This year we did a Survivor League where you make one pick a week. If your team wins, you move on. If they lose, you're out. This year we lost it to OTR Mike. So the trophy is on the way. The custom LBHT trophy is going to be on the way to Mikey pretty soon. When we bring back the other tiers, again, you're going to be getting the second version of our coin. It's going to be the LBHT Crew coin. That's going to get you also entrance into our Fantasy Football League, which is being converted into a Dynasty League next year, where we give away a custom championship belt. Deshaun, Team Stoner, won it this year, so congratulations to Deshaun. We're going to get that out to him as well.
Yeah.
And also gets you the ability to request specific content, articles, videos, anything like that. And both tiers get you entrance into the Discord.
All right. So, that's another way to support. And the third way is what you've seen throughout the show. $sign LBHT Show, that little QR code right under B, and also the pin link that you see in the chat. Those are two ways that you can get a highlighted comment. You can go either place. You leave your donation, leave your comment, and we will have a nice little animated little animation for you right above us with your comment, and we will read it on air. All right. Now we're going to get into bonus time here in a minute. There's a couple of things I did want to talk about before we fire up bonus time. Just real quick. Washington football team reportedly has a new name. Right? They've decided. They decided on new. They haven't announced the name. They haven't officially announced the name.
That's coming February 2nd.
They said it's not the Red Wolves. It's not the Red Tails. They weren't able to get the licensing for it.
They said, we're going to make our new name announcement on February 2nd. Please don't get excited.
There has been rumors that it is going to be the Washington Commanders.
And that's why you shouldn't be excited.
And that sounds very close to the Washington Generals.
It really does. It very much does. But that's pretty spot on for what they've been, right?
But I'm curious though, because I don't know how many of you guys remember back in the day when Kellen Winslow was crucified for saying, "I'm a soldier," right? And it was just, how dare you disrespect the troops? How dare you disrespect our military by calling yourself? Yes, for using a military term in this sport, because only quarterbacks are allowed to use that, right? We can only say field general. We can only say battle. We can only say it was a war out there. We can only say those things. But you call yourself a soldier, that's a problem. But I guess, they're the Commanders. They're not soldiers. So a team full of commanders. That's interesting. I thought there's going to be one commander, but
it's going to work as well as that would in reality.
There's so many things wrong with
there's
that.
Still time to change it, is all I'm saying. You could pick something else.
The uniforms that they showed though look kind of clean though. I ain't gonna lie.
I didn't see the uniforms.
I do have a problem with that with the chevrons that they were using though. I don't like them using actual like military ranks on their thing. If that's what it is, if that's what it is. Somebody put it out there. It could have been fake, but what I saw looked all right. What's up, Click One? He says, "What's good, y'all? I'm back. Thanks for coming through, Click One. It's been a while." Let's see. Ferris says, "We got an extra game week and only one game matters." Shaking my head. NFLPA. Yep. All right. Look. So that was one thing. The other thing. What's the other thing I wanted to bring up?
You mean talking about the Panthers, since we haven't yet?
Yes. The Panthers. Final game.
Disrespect. Yeah.
You just never seem enthusiastic about talking about.
I'm not enthusiastic. Why would I be enthusiastic? They're a dumpster fire. They're out here. They're gonna start Sam Darnold again, but Matt Rule says he doesn't have any problem playing Cam or PJ Walker because PJ Walker's back now. and he thinks that it works to their advantage for the other team to not know who is going to be playing a quarterback. Like anybody is worried about any of the three of them. It's a clown show in Carolina. It's time for it to end, but it doesn't sound like it's going to. So yeah, not real into talking Panthers these days. After this Sunday, then we can get into talking the draft and free agency and things like that, but not excited about watching this team play football.
Yeah, look, I don't see how I don't care what the reports say. I don't see how Matt Rule stays as head coach. Matt Rule is, he's talking like he's comfortable. I'll give him that. He's talking like I'm not going anywhere. But every time I hear him talk, I'm like, there's no way he's staying as a coach, right? I feel like it's one of those things where they told him, yes, you're good, just so he can feel comfortable, so he can just keep digging his own hole, because like what I'm hearing and seeing, there's just no way he comes back next year. No way. I'm gonna stick with that until I actually see it. I don't believe he's coming back as a head coach. Like, he's doing all the wrong things. Because how does this resolve anything for next year, right? Like, so what's your QB situation going into next year? Are you bringing back Cam? Sam Darnold. Okay, but you don't bring back Cam, so is it going to be quarterback by committee the whole year with Sam Darnold and PJ Walker?
Oh no, that was a construct because he doesn't like Cam Newton. That's not going to be a thing, because look, he said that the reason he was doing it before is because you can't turn over the ball, right? And Cam turned the ball over a couple times in consecutive games, and so they went to that. But Darnold turned the ball over twice last week, and he's starting again. Yeah. So it's he just doesn't want Cam to be there. Cam was forced on him, and even though Sam Darnold has not delivered, that's his guy. So that's who he's going to close out the season with. They already picked up his option for next year, so he's going to be there. And look, I like I said before, I think the owner is just going to make him sit in it.
I can't see it happening for the whole year, man. Just Alice says, if you have 3 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. That is true. John Hazeb Ali says Matt Rule and Harbaugh both dumpster fire. I don't want to put those two in the same category. I don't. Andre Mears says Matt Rule should definitely be out of here. Yeah, you can't be that cocky about that mess that you have there. You can't. No. Talking about it took Jay-Z 7 years. I can't believe he said that, man. You don't have 7 years, dude.
He does. He very explicitly does.
He said my contract.
Yes.
Well, look. Talk to Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer would like to have a word with you.
Yeah, but Matt Rule's not out here kicking anybody. So he's good.
Urban Meyer was the same way. Urban Meyer thought, okay, go ahead and fire me. You're going to pay me all this money. That's going to be a sweet, sweet golden parachute. And they said, we're firing him with cause. He immediately hopped on Ian Rappaport's podcast, whatever it was, and started shedding tears. He said he was hurt. Oh, I bet you were hurt, my friend. I bet. That was a lot of money that you left on the table there. Was it worth kicking that kicker? E says, check out the emails, A. Okay, yeah. I'll check it out, E. Let's see. Russell Wilson to the Panthers. That's what Derek is hoping for. I would love to see that.
The media is hoping for Baker Mayfield to the Panthers. That's that's the talk there.
All right. Okay. Look, be fired up bonus time. Okay. It's bonus time now. So anything goes. Go ahead and put what you want in there. We're going to talk about it. But since you brought up Baker, let's talk some Baker.
Yuck.
What Baker Mayfield, what do you guys think? Does he come back to the Browns next year? Does he get an extension? Does he get a big extension? I don't know. I don't think he gets a big one if he gets an extension. And listening to what's his name? Quincy Carrier. You guys know who Quincy Carrier is if you ever watch like AFC North Talk or you watch Engraven or Sunny. He's been on those channels plenty of times. He's a Browns fan. He has a Browns channel. Really good guy. Great analysis. Today I was watching one of his videos and he said he didn't think Baker Mayfield was coming back, and he listed a bunch of reasons why. So him being closer to that, following it a little bit more, I tend to lean towards maybe he won't be back. And some of the things he was saying was the The fact that he's not playing in this last game when he wasn't, it didn't seem like he got hurt any more than, he already was. It kind of tells him that.
Well, but the season's over though.
The season's over. Yeah, it was already over.
They're out of the play. Well, I mean, but that happened really late. Like they got eliminated this week. So it's not like they had the chance to get somebody else prepared to play against the Steelers.
Yeah.
He has that injury, and it's something that needs to be repaired. So I wouldn't read into him not playing this week. But like I said, I'm just going off of the fact that the Cleveland Browns haven't had a quarterback since Brodny Kosar.
Yes.
It's been a very, very, very long time, and I think they're going to be terrified of letting this guy go and going back out into the abyss trying to find another one, because it took them so long, and it wasn't for lack of trying. They brought in Brady Quinn, they brought in Brandon Whedon, they brought in Tim Couch, they brought in Johnny Manziel, they brought in Kelly Holcomb, they had Derek Anderson. Like it's a long list of guys, and they just were never able to find the guy. Right. And they thought they had him in Baker. He had a great rookie season, and then he had a down year, and then he had a pretty good year last year, and now he's having another down year. And I think that they'll do like the Jaguars did with Nick Foles and try to buy some legitimacy, try to buy some belief in Baker by giving him that extension and saying, no, this is our guy. We're going to, he was hurt. We had a lot of injuries on the team. Everything kind of just went sour, but he's the man. He's going to be here long term, and we're building around him.
Now, this is from what I'm gathering from Quincy's video earlier. I'm pretty sure that this is what he said. But there have been some rumors that maybe he wasn't getting along well with the coaching staff, which seems to be a common theme with Baker. Right now, we talk about certain players being a problem. It was
okay when he was flipping off Hugh, though.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
that's just that old Negro coach. But now you don't want to be doing that with Stefanski.
Listen, man. Listen. You have a problem. You have a problem with the coach that drafted you. You got a problem. It was him. It was him that was the problem. Then it was Kitchens, right? Kitchens was supposed to be the one that was supposed to set you free. Then Kitchens was the problem. Now Stefanski, who helped turn around your bad season, now he's a problem. Allegedly, like they're saying that there could be some problems there. So that's three coaches. And you've only been playing 4 years. Not three coaches that are bad. It's three coaches that you've had a problem with. Right? That is very telling.
No, he didn't flip off Hugh Jackson, right? That was a college thing. He just stared him down.
No.
Or did he?
So no. The media didn't pick up on it. I picked up on it. He flipped him off, right? He didn't give him the full bird. He kind of did one of those. I raised it just slightly. Like I'm gonna find it. It was when he did. It's when he was doing his little stare down. He raised his finger just slightly. He definitely flipped him off. Okay, but the stare down enough. It's just like, who do you think you are? Right. Like you are absolutely nobody. Right. Mm-hmm. And all this organization has done was give you everything they possibly could in order for you to. This is not something that is on the organization. Cleveland did all the right things here. They found a quarterback that they believed in, and they backed him 1,000%. Right. Yep. So I don't fault Cleveland at all. And honestly, I don't think this is going to be damning for them moving forward. I think they'll be fine. Like, they just got to find a quarterback. I think they understand what it takes to put together a solid franchise now. They just don't have the quarterback. So I don't know, man. I don't think Baker stays. I think they find a better quarterback, because this ain't about performance. This is about his attitude. It seems like he's showing a history here, and I mean, look, you can't get it done with Odell.
Sure can't.
Matt Stafford can get it done with Odell, but you can't. No, I'm sorry, man. I don't think he stays.
Well, Matt Stafford's a better quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Solomon Reed says, "What's up, LBHT crew? I made it late as usual. I hope everything is going well or doing well. Thanks for coming through, Solomon. Appreciate you. Whether you're late or early, you're always right on time. All right. Andre Mears says, I think he said he wouldn't and is having surgery. Yeah. He said Baker's supposed to have surgery on his left shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have had that last week, really, but whatever.
Well, the season's officially over now, so he's going to go get healthy, and that's fine.
Deep Mahmood says Baker Mayfield in Cleveland equals Ryan Tannehill in Miami. He needs a new team as soon as possible. Maybe it's one of those things where it's better for both organizations to move on. Where would he go to be successful? I don't know.
Carolina.
You don't want him there. He has shown some flashes, which is more than I could say for Sam Darnold, right? He has shown some flashes, but your inability to work with Odell and Jarvis Landry and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is very disturbing to me. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have all the weapons and they rebuilt your O-line and you can't win. You can't even play well. So I don't know about that. Derek Weatherly says there might be a prototype prototype had designed for lunch money bets. Perks of being a part of the in crowd. Okay, all right. Yes. Lunch money bets merch it might be up sooner than you think, guys. All right, just keep an eye out. Take a look at the merch store. Just Aloe says, we got a donation here. We got a donation from Anonymous. Shout out to you, Anonymous. Says Huntley to the Browns in 2022. Ooh.
Nah, Huntley's not going anywhere. He's an exclusive rights free agent, so the Ravens will have their backup for another year for absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
actually, sucks for Huntley, but
actually, we looked at the free agency list for the Ravens. This is a very favorable year for us, right? We don't have any major signings outside of Lamar. Get the Lamar signing done. We don't have any free agents, like major free agent signings that we have to tackle, right? And some of the younger guys that we, like Tyler Huntley that we might want to keep. Yeah, he's an exclusive rights free agent. He can't really go anywhere, and they're not going to really cost us any money. So I haven't looked at the actual salary cap. I don't really look at salary cap anymore because it's fictional. But in terms of who we have to keep, or who people will want us to keep, there's no real controversy there. Brandon Williams is up. I don't think anybody's fighting for Brandon Williams to be here anymore. There are talks of Calais Campbell retiring. So, we should have some money. Money should not be an excuse. It never is, in my opinion, but it really shouldn't be this year. Nitro says this Baker controversy looks like the Drew Brees debacle all over again. If he leaves and wins, fans will burn down the stadium.
That's something that I hadn't considered, because that is a very, very Cleveland way for this story to end. Baker Mayfield leaves and turns out to be the great quarterback they thought he was somewhere else. Yeah,
but Brees didn't look as bad in San Diego.
No, but he didn't look as good as Baker did his rookie year either. He progressed, and he was pretty good by the end. But then he had a major injury that people were really unsure of. Baker's it's to his non-throwing shoulder. Everybody thinks he's going to be fine. He just sucked this year. Is all.
Yeah. Ray Ron says in the end, progressive wins. Deep Mahmood says 4 coaches. Oh, Greg Williams was also Baker's coach. That's right, because Greg Williams was the interim.
I'm not blaming him for that one though. But don't nobody like Greg Williams except Sean
nobody
Payton.
Like Greg Williams. You're right, Adit. Though that's 4 coaches in 4 years. It is what it is. Nitro says Baker at times looked like a Pro Bowl QB before the injury. Listen, you go out there and play on an injury. There's no excuses.
Yeah. And look, it's fine. It could have been the injury, right? It could have been his shoulder that caused him to play really poorly down the stretch, or for the second half of the season, and that's fine. They had a lot of other injuries. They didn't make the playoffs. It's okay. If that's the case, he'll get healthy. He'll come back next year, and he'll play well.
Yeah. Attitude Pop. What's up, Attitude Pop? He says, but Jose and Brodny, the Ravens shouldn't even be in this position. They have lost 5 straight, which were winnable games, and choked and made bad decisions because of John Barbie and Greg Ron Roach. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Listen, don't disagree. Which is why I don't like this credit that he's getting for, they fought hard. These teams always fight hard, and if they never fought hard, he should definitely be fired on the spot, because that's the standard we have here. But playing a close game to Green Bay, playing a close game to the Rams, I don't give you credit for that. You need to win those games, right? You're in a position to win. You need to win. That's what the better coaches do, right? Yeah. And I think he is one of the better coaches, which is why I expect him to win those games. And the fact that you're not winning these games, and this is solely on John Harbaugh making poor decisions. I mean, okay, I understand we're shorthanded. I understand the O-line is terrible, and that's not fully on you, right? You didn't draft these guys. But when Tyler Huntley takes that sack, right? I mean, it's already close to being over. He took that sack from Von Miller. They're just not ready to run another play. They're standing there, and then they take a delay of game. What are you doing? Who's that on? Yeah. Right? And I know some people are going to say, "Oh, well, that's on Greg Roman. He runs the offense." Who hired Greg Roman? Who's standing up for Greg Roman? Right? It's got to be on somebody. Right? Like you got to take responsibility at some point. So, no, man. The Sports Star says, "Hey, the Sports Star."
Hey, how you doing?
Thanks for coming through. Thank you for joining the live stream. Derek says Huntley will be a top backup QB in the league, and that's a powerful chip to be holding. Yeah. Could he turn into a starter at some point? Maybe. I don't know. All right, couple more comments, and we are going to get up out of here. We're going to start up the Overtime Show. If you want to be a part of the Overtime Show, make sure you sign up to the Patreon, patreon.com/LBHT Show. Also, what we have in here, we got about 30 people still in here. Thank you for hanging out to the end of the stream. We really appreciate that. Make sure you hit that like button, and if you are new, hit that subscribe button. All right, we're on a road to 1,000 subscribers. Also, we have a new channel for our boxing fans, Ring Kings Podcast, with me, Brodny, and our good friend Mikey from Off the Record Podcast. All right, it's a lot of fun. We got one podcast up right now. We're going to be doing another recording here pretty soon, and we're going to put up some more clips. So check it out and support. Appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Tony Hendo says that's horrible. Harbaugh. Yes, that's Harbaugh. It is. Nitro says Tennessee is winning despite Tannehill playing like garbage, and without Henry, no excuses. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, that's the reality. When you want to sit there and defend, I don't even understand why these people are defending Harbaugh the way they are. Like the dude I was arguing with earlier today, I'm just like, you look like a young kid. Like, you don't even look like you're old enough to even remember the Super Bowl. I could be wrong, maybe, but I mean, like you're defending something that was 10 years ago. That's the Harbaugh you're defending, because they try to bring up, oh, well, he's got one of the best playoff records, from current head coaches. Yeah, from 10 years ago. Yeah, from 10 years ago, that is not good enough. Making do with what you have, that's fine if we were winning more consistently the previous years, right? But when you go 14-2 and get bounced in the first round to Tennessee, or the second round, when your first game to Tennessee, that's not okay, right?
You go 10-6 and you get bounced by the Chargers. That's not okay.
That's not okay, right? Losing the way we did to the Bills,
Buffalo.
Yeah, that ain't okay.
They scored 3 points in that game.
Yeah, and the Bills didn't have a good defense, right? Like it's just not okay. So there has to be high expectations, because if all you expect is just to get to the second round, I mean, I don't know. You don't need to watch this channel, because we are never going to be okay with that. All right, all right. If you guys are okay with that, I don't know. I don't have to tell you. But if we're expecting to win Super Bowls, somebody has to be held accountable for it. Ultimately, it has to be John Harbaugh, and more so, just take out this year. Take out the injuries this year. What happened last year? Year before that? What's going on with these players, man, outside of Lamar, and just them not developing? Right? Again, I told you, Eric DaCosta, if not this offseason, going into next year, he's definitely going to be looking at it and saying, I've drafted a lot of players. I've drafted a whole lot of players. And these guys are not working out. How many guys? I got to ask you guys again, because I asked this a few weeks ago, and we came up with a few names. And I even asked this in one of the spaces. It might have been Nitro Space. Out of Eric DeCosta's classes, out of all his draft picks, who are the players that you would say are working out, that you would say, hey, he picked a good one there? You might name 4. And even now, I wouldn't even say that you would name that, because a lot of people are cooled off on Hollywood, right? We're talking about bringing Hollywood back, but some of you guys don't want Hollywood back. So how many players from the time, and Hollywood was his first draft class. That was Hollywood Brown. That was Justice Hill. That was Ben Powers. Who else was in that class? I don't think it was anybody else. That was Sack Daddy. Sack Daddy was in that class.
I keep wanting to give him credit for Mark Andrews.
No. Mark Andrews came in the same class as Lamar. That was Ozzie's class. Right? So it wasn't it ain't Mark Andrews. Right? So you got Hollywood that year. The following year, I think, was Patrick Queen. J.K. Dobbins. We like J.K. Dobbins. Who else is in that class? Matabike. I still think Matabike might work out, but he hasn't shown a whole lot to this point. We had like a couple of tackles. Who was it? Bredesen.
I mean, you're gonna look over Miles Boykin.
Miles Boykin.
You're gonna overlook James
Prochet. I know you guys love Prochet. Right. But whether you like him or not, he ain't working out. If you say Hollywood isn't working out, Prochet damn sure ain't working out. Duvernay. Right. Well, yeah, Boykin was in the Hollywood class. My bad. Boykin was in the Hollywood class. But Duvernay and Prochet came together. Duvernay, okay, but I mean, if that's your highlight, that ain't good. Danny says 1 in a possible. That's all she's giving you. 1 in a possible. Let's see.
Because my thing with J.K. Dobbins is I thought he was the top running back in that class. I thought he was going to be a really good NFL running back. But it's a negative to draft a player like that and then put him in a timeshare where he's going to get 800 yards if you took him in the second round. That's a bad pick.
Yeah. Just Alice says, that Spider-Man meme with the 2 Spider-Mans are pointing at each other. That's John Harbaugh and Eric DeCosta. Well, but yeah, so you go through the classes, man. Like, Hollywood, there's a couple that you could say, hey, they got potential, right? But everybody's hating Patrick Queen until a few weeks ago. He's turned it around. So Patrick Queen, for a lot of fans, might say he hadn't really worked out or lived up to his draft position. I still like Patrick Queen long term. J.K. Dobbins, I like J.K. Dobbins, but again, like, he needs to be the full-time starter. I wouldn't say that's working out either, because he's splitting too many carries between Gus Edwards and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is still the main runner of this team, so I can't say that's working out either. Owe, you guys already know how I feel about Owe. I think he could turn into a good player. I don't think he's that guy yet. I think he was way overhyped because he got to a hot start this early in the season, and he's pretty much disappeared since then. And that's fine. He's a rookie, and he might develop into a good edge rusher at some point. But we gave up our O-line. We gave up our right tackle for that, and that's not really working out either. But I can give you Owe, because I think he'll be a good player, and he might work out later on if we get better coaching, right? And we can actually use our edge rushers the way they're supposed to be used. Who else? Bateman. Okay, we like Bateman's potential, but we can't say he's worked out yet. He hasn't done anything yet. He's got 1 touchdown so far. Injuries or not, I don't care. He's played enough games to get more than 1 touchdown. So we have to wait and see. But not a lot. There's not a lot of players that you would say, man, he's really racking them up. And because of that, right, Eric DeCosta is not going to sit there and say, hey, I'm just missing on all these guys. He ain't going to say that. He's going to say, you, Harbaugh, aren't getting the most out of these players. That's your responsibility. It's my responsibility to go and get the talent to fit your system, but you need to make sure these guys develop, and you need to make sure that it works, and you're not making it work. So I expect some shakeup. I expect some things to change. Nitro says, I be arguing with people too, bro. I said we have to rebuild the line at 3 positions on the line, and I was called an idiot and spewing BS. My response was the Chiefs did it, and there was no response. Well, yeah, I mean, because like building the O-line is not the sexy thing to do, right? When you draft O-line high, nobody likes that because it's not something that you really see unless they're getting blown up. Now, we've been seeing a lot of our O-line. Okay. I've never seen a tackle get decleated as many times as Villanueva. He's even worse than I thought. And I thought he was a bad tackle. Okay. Yeah. He's even worse than that. That dude, he needs to retire just immediately. I'm good with him now. I mean, he's going to give up the sack record. We know that. TJ Watt knows that, right? TJ Watt's he's probably buying him dinner right now saying thank you, right? Like, I mean, like we know that. Like, you have zero faith in Villanueva. You don't have any faith in Pat McCarry. Like, he's a good rotational guy, but you don't want him starting on that side. Tyree Phillips, no, right? The only tackle that you really have faith in when he's healthy is Ronnie Stanley. And where did we draft Ronnie Stanley? What, 5th overall?
6th.
Yeah, 6th overall. That's what it takes. So in this draft, we need to go and get a tackle with our top pick. Yes, a right tackle in the 1st round, right? That's what we need to get. I don't want to hear this, oh, that's too high to get a right tackle. No, it's not. No, it's not. I will take a center in the 1st round, right? If there's a good enough center, go and spend that 1st round pick on a center. I want us to do that year. If we didn't get T. Higgins, the next guy that I would have wanted us to get was Cesar Ruiz, the guy that the center that the Saints picked up. Yeah. So you gotta fix the O-line. You have to do it. You have to invest early. You have to invest a good amount. Fix the O-line. Give Lamar a chance to make the plays that we know he can make. That's the most important thing. And then go and get weapons.
All right, and so we're going to end it here. We got another Cash App, another anonymous donation. Thank you very much. And just asking, will Lamar finally be passing majority in 2022? If they move on from Greg Roman, maybe. But right now, I'm going to say no. I think that Harbaugh wants the team to be a run and defense first team. No matter how backwards that is, no matter how quickly they abandon that in the playoffs, I think they're going to try to stick with that. I think he'll pass more. Even with them being fully healthy, he'll pass more than you're used to seeing. But I don't think the Ravens are going to be a team that is high up in the rankings in pass attempts.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. We're going to end it here, but. Another reason why he absolutely has to go now is because what he's built isn't something that we're going to stand on forever. Like, this isn't going to be our base offense moving forward, right? Like, it's only sustainable because of Lamar Jackson. That's it. He's not running anything that any other quarterback can run. That's when I hear, I heard somebody today say, oh, well, if you had Aaron Rodgers on this team with Tom Brady, we'd have won 10 games. Some idiot said that today on Twitter, right? Yes, you're an idiot, whoever you were. That's stupid. So Tom Brady, who's a statue, can run this offense? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard, right? It's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Like, but you can't, like, this isn't like a realistic offense that you can build off of. So when he leaves, whether it's now or next year or whenever, whoever comes in has to come in here and totally revamp the offense, no matter what it is, right? He has to totally revamp it. So it's better to get rid of him now and bring in a coach. And you have to really sit here and say, well, one, are we keeping Harbaugh? into like, what do we want to do moving forward? We want to run the ball more. Okay, here's going to be the base. Here's how we want our running attack to look without Lamar carrying it. Or do we want to be more of a West Coast offense? Whatever it is, bring in a coach that can develop it. When that coach moves on, because when you have good offensive coaches, they move on and get head coaching jobs. Another coach can come in and build off that base, right? We need somebody to be able to do that. When Greg Roman moves on, we're going to have to rebuild. So I'd rather it starts right now. All right, we'll end it there. Guys, we are getting ready to start the Overtime Show. If you want to be a part of it, hit up the Patreon, patreon.com/LBHT Show. Patrons, give us a few minutes. We're going to get that started. Everybody else, have a great night. And B, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
B is ready. We will see you next time. Peace out.